What's up, y'all? You're listening to the Extra Point College Football Podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Carnes, joined as always by my co-host, Daniel Hammock. Dude, I froze there for a second. I really was like, what's the next line of my intro? Oh yeah, my name. Good to be back. Daniel, this is part 1 of 3 of our bowl picks. We're gonna pick all, is it 42 bowl games? That sounds right.
Yes.
Yeah, 41. I don't know. We're
It's
picking
41
all
or
of them.
42. It's a lot.
We're gonna do 3 episodes of bowl picks straight up instead of against the spread. Then we will do a separate episode with our New Year's Six and our playoff picks. We'll do an in-depth breakdown of those games. So part 1 tonight of our bowl picks. You and I still love bowl season. I just love that starting this Friday, we're going to have like a month straight of games just about. So
Yes.
it's a great way to finish the season. Weekday games, weeknight games as like work slowing down, and like it's just a random Wednesday night in December, and there's college football on. Nothing better, right?
Yeah, it's great.
Love it. Before we do dive into our bowl games, Daniel, I did just want to take a few minutes. This super sad news for the college football world broke out this morning. It's Tuesday, December 13th, as we're recording. As Mississippi State announced that Coach Mike Leach had passed away Monday night. I know that everyone's been very shocked and saddened by his passing. You and I as well. I feel like, you and I are in a unique space of we feel empathy for not, let me rephrase this. We feel empathy for everyone, right? But you and I having both lost a parent, just a unique empathy there. Just hearing the kids getting called in made us super sad, but just super saddened by his passing, and prayers up to his family. And his friends and his team. I can't imagine what all the people are going through. And any thoughts on Mike Leach, just as a coach, as a person? Any favorite moments from Coach Leach?
Yeah, so I mean, it's just the suddenness, I think, is the part that is so alarming. I believe I'm trying to think of a sitting head coach that has passed away. I don't remember anything since we've been. I mean, obviously, like coaches that have retired and then a few years later passed, with like Paterno and Bowden and those guys. But this obviously being a much younger situation, and something where it's sad for someone to be lost at an age 61 years old. But I mean, I think my favorite Mike Leach moment was he was with, I believe, Washington State still, and they were someone asked him a question about mascots. And so he goes off on a tangent about like, if mascots were real, which one would win? And if they were actually fighting as mascots. And then he goes off on a tangent about a sun devil and what kind of sorcery powers they have. And it just classic Leach fashion, where he just goes off and starts expressing, because he started with the Bears, the Cal Bears, and just how they're just going to destroy everybody, and then he gets to Sun Devil, and then it kind of derails from there. That's just the kind of, I mean, classic, conversation that they would always draw from him in those press conferences. They ask him a couple of questions about ball, and then they'd get in and ask him, something unique, which I think is what made him so endearing to everybody. I think that sometimes that kind of gets lost, that like how great of a coach he was.
Yeah.
If you compare him to like the greats of all time, and maybe he's not that. He's in his own path. He's in his own lane. But just like, the inventiveness, the air raid offense, just his mind, he's called a genius by many of his peers. So very good coach, great reputation on the field. I think a lot is made of what he talks about off the field, because it's so unique to the college football space. And so putting those two things together is really just, I mean, it exemplifies what a great loss everything is. And like, last thing I'll say regarding it is, like, Lane Kiffin, them both starting at the same time at the Mississippi school. So Lane at Ole Miss and then him at Mississippi State. They had a unique relationship. They had a relationship prior to that when they were in Pac-12 schools, but just seeing what Lane said about everything, because you could kind of see from afar that they had a good relationship. But Lane even going so far as to say that he was proud to be part of Leach's last win. And then you start to think about just how Leach going out on top, winning the Egg Bowl. We didn't think about it at the time, of course, but now it's like, well, goodness, he won the Egg Bowl as his last football game ever coaching, and he goes out a winner. So I guess fitting that that's the end of for that to be his last game to win one of the best rivalries in college football.
Yeah, I mean, I was telling you before the show, Daniel, that on this past Friday, I actually gave a presentation at work because this is not our full-time job. We were talking about just examples of pioneers and people who think differently. And I made a presentation on the spread offense and the evolution of the spread offense in college football, and who are the founding fathers of the spread offense, and Hal Mumme, who Leach coached under at Kentucky. And then Mike Leach, Hal Mumme kind of created the spread formation. And, like you said, as a football mind, Mike Leach really started this evolution of a pass first offense in college football. He really was kind of the first person to, we're going to throw first. And I talked through his three principles, which is like, one, we're going to throw short as many times as possible. And then two, when the defense takes that away, we're going to throw it medium and long. And when the defense takes that away, we're going to run the ball. And usually 1 and 2 are working really well, and he hardly ever has to get to 3. But I think even after Texas Tech and his time at Washington State and now at Mississippi State, his unique use of the running back and like finding ways to get them involved in the offense, and thinking, he's even recruited some running backs and told them like, hey, I can help you set a record for like most receiving yards by a running back ever in his offense. So, unique use there. But man, world lost a fun dude, great football mind, and we're just so sorry, and prayers out to him and his family, his team, for the Mississippi State Bulldog team, and his friends and everybody around that community, man. I know it hurts, and we just didn't want to skip over that. That's a big thing. Like you said, I couldn't tell you the last time a sitting head coach passed away before the season was over, and can't imagine what that team's going through. As a uniform connoisseur, I did see on the Mississippi State 24/7 board, someone said that for uniforms to do a tribute to Leach, so they should do all black, which fitting for the Pirate. They're also playing in Tampa, home of the Buccaneers, for their bowl game. Someone said, though, they should do a uniform with just the block state across the chest, like that unbranded sweater that he wore.
It looks like the Dr. Pepper Fansville state. And
I saw a whole article about like, where did Mike Leach even find this? Because it's not even Adidas. He had to start wearing like a V-neck with an Adidas undershirt because it wasn't even on brand. Again, this great classic Mike Leach, just wearing something just state. So that would be really cool. I'm sure Adidas could rush to make some stuff happen if they were to do something like that. But the skull and crossbones and the helmet would be awesome. I saw a logo that was like in Mississippi State colors with the skull and crossbones. I hope they do something cool. That'd be really cool to do something like that with the uniforms. Oh yeah, that'd be really cool for the bowl game. But yeah, praise out to the Leach family. We're thinking about you and praying for you as you go through this tough time. Daniel, let's talk. Hated to shift that quickly. Let's talk some bowl games. Part 1, we're going to talk through the first 12 bowl games. So we're talking the bowl games that are happening December 16th through the 20th. So we're going to pick straight up. No against the spread here because most of the spreads are pretty close. Bowl games, if you can pick 62% against the spread in bowl games, give me a call because I'd like to play some bets wherever you're doing it. Good luck. Bowl games are way different. So we're just going to pick straight up. These bowl games, you got to factor in motivation. right?
Right.
It's what all's going. This is what makes this fun, because you can throw power ratings out the window for bowl games half the time. Let's start with the Bahamas Bowl. And here's why I love this bowl game, Daniel. They picked two schools that, man, they deserve the trip to the Bahamas, because you picked two schools from Birmingham, Alabama and Miami, Ohio. So good for them for getting a week vacation out to the Bahamas. But UAB is a 10.5-point favorite against Ohio. Where are you going in Maui?
Yeah, this one I'm going for the Bahamas Bowl. I like UAB in this matchup. I think that they, if you're going by the point spread, they are 11-point favorites. So it does seem like it's a little obvious. I just like the story, and with Bill Clark having to step down in the offseason, just all this kind of stuff. They rallied to still get a bowl game. So it shows the state at which he had the program in, since revitalizing it from a few years back when they stopped operations altogether. So just a team you kind of pull for. But I mean, they're a good ball club. Dylan Hopkins at quarterback, I think he's going to have a strong day. And then their fun tailback, Dwayne McBride. I mean, 1,700 yards this year. It can't be overstated. 19 touchdowns. The dude can find the end zone. This offense goes how he goes. So, I mean, in a bowl game, I mean, this is going to be. They get a. I don't know what the swag bag is like what they get when they go to the Bahamas Bowl, but I know at a bare minimum they get a really awesome vacation. So hopefully that's plenty for UAB to come out and assert their dominance like I would expect them to if they show up with a motivation. I think both of these teams will be equally motivated because they're both 6-6. Neither one of them has pro prospects that are looking to jump or anything like that. They've got guys who are going to stick around. So yeah, give me UAB straight up because I don't have to lay any points.
Daniel, did you know that recently? I was looking at the name of it. Hawaii has two active volcanoes, Mauna Loa and Kailua. And for the first time in over a decade, I think a couple weeks ago, Mauna Loa erupted and was spewing out lava. So what does this have to do with the bowl game? Well, one of these teams, Daniel, is the Blazers. And I feel like the Blazers with an erupting volcano those are just good vibes. And that's the kind of stuff I'm going for with these bowl picks is good vibes.
Is good vibes.
So Miami is one of the worst, if not the worst team to make a bowl game this year. Their offensive success rate ranks 121st in the country. I think motivation factor to it, you always got to think about with bowl games. UAB's got a new head coach coming in. This is an opportunity. UAB is not a school that's got a bunch of players opting out, or they also haven't had a lot of players hit the transfer portal yet. I think you're going to get a lot of players that are looking to impress the incoming head coach. So unique motivation factor there. Yeah, give me UAB. I like the Blazers and the volcanic islands of Hawaii vibes. So that's what we're going for with these bowl picks.
Jacob.
Yes, sir.
It's in the Bahamas. It's not in Hawaii.
Oh my gosh. Well,
when you said Maui to start with, I was like, is there a Maui in the Bahamas?
Wow, that's really embarrassing. I'm looking at the word Bahamas and I'm thinking Hawaii in my head. Man, I just screwed UAB. The vibes are not immaculate. The other stuff's true. Gosh. Miami's still one of the worst bowl teams. Their offense still ranks 121st in success rate.
But they're still the best Miami out there.
they are the better Miami of the two. Miami is close to the Bahamas, therefore, wait. Just different Miami. Q Kelly on The Office, thinking she was moving to Miami, Florida, moving to Miami of Ohio. Shout out to The Office. Yeah, we're gonna
getting rid of UAB, all her jackets.
Yeah. We gotta move on from that mess up by me. The Cure Bowl. The Cure Bowl, also not in Hawaii. Um,
Famously.
you're sitting there like, what are you talking about? The
I was
Cure
like, Jacob,
Bowl.
you know geography, right?
I thought I did. Man, the Cure Bowl, Troy and UTSA. Daniel, this is the headliner on our graphic. This is two college football playoff NAP ranked teams. These are two conference champions, two G5 conference champions. This is a game I'm very excited for. In Orlando, Troy is a 1.5 point favorite against UTSA. But yeah, like I said, both coming off of conference championship victories from the Sun Belt and Conference USA. Where are you going in Orlando?
Yeah, this one's tough because I have to I'm trying to factor in, competition, how this is going to match up. My gut, I think that Troy is the better team. You look at a lot of the numbers, it's going to skew towards UTSA, just like, yards per game, those kinds of things, points per game. Troy's got the better defense, though. And in these kinds of games, you had a couple weeks to prepare. I like Troy to come out defensively and to slow down the Roadrunners and to really make things difficult for them. It's not going to be as easy as they've had all year where they can put up a bunch of points, put up a bunch of yards. So I'm going to take Troy. Luckily, I don't have to lay any points because, again, we're just picking straight up. I think Troy wins this by a little bit.
Yeah, Troy, I think you took some of my points, man. Troy, you could argue they won the deepest G5 conference. I think the Sun Belt top to bottom might be better than the American. You could argue either way there, but they won a loaded Sun Belt. They do have an elite defense. I think they run the ball better than UTSA does, and I think this is a low-scoring, close game. But I will take the better defense. I will take Troy to beat UTSA. Very, very excited for the Cure Bowl. This is one of the most underrated bowls. Also, like with the defense, Carlton Marshall, great linebacker. He's going to go to the NFL. He'll be drafted. I think he led the country in tackles this year, something like that. Their middle linebacker. He's up there, but elite middle linebacker. I like Troy to win the Cure Bowl. Daniel, let's go to Boston for the Fenway Bowl at Fenway Park, otherwise known as the Scott Satterfield Bowl. This is Louisville and Cincinnati, the school that Scott Satterfield is leaving, and the school Scott Satterfield is going to. Louisville in this game, a 1.5 point favorite. Where are you going in Boston?
Yeah, this is tough because both teams are losing their head coach. Cincinnati's a better team. So if I'm trying to factor in both of them having emotions and being weird about the Satterfield thing or both just having their coaches leave, I'm just going to default to Cincinnati is a better team, should win this game. So I'm just going to double down on that. They got a better defense. Just give me Cincinnati, and I'm gonna get out of here because I think I could. There's 38 ways to overthink this because of motivations and who's going to do what. Yeah, I don't know. I think not that we're in our off season deal with coaches, but I think Louisville is happier with their new head coach than they were with Satterfield.
I think I might be too.
I would be, but they they're bringing their own home with Coach Brom coming home. So, anyways, that doesn't affect this game, but give me Cincinnati. I'm gonna go hide.
Yeah, Cincinnati's a better team. I'm with you. I'm not going to overthink this one. Cincinnati's a better football team. Louisville has had games where they are better than Cincinnati, but Cincinnati has been way more consistent than Louisville has been this year. Give me Cincy. They've got the better defense. They have a better run game. I think both teams will have trouble throwing the ball, but I'm with you. Give me Cincy. I'll go run and hide. The Celebration Bowl, Daniel, it's in Atlanta, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Celebrations in Atlanta. Yeah, it's at Georgia State Stadium.
Yeah. So the Celebration Bowl, Jackson State and NC Central. Jackson State coming in as a 15.5 point favorite. Where are you going in Atlanta?
This is tough because Jackson State should. I mean, I don't think that the players that we know in this game are playing like Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, all those guys, because of Dion leaving. And I think NC Central is going to have a chip on their shoulder and have more motivation to win this game. So I'm actually going to go NC Central to beat Jackson State in this game.
Dude, I am with you. Yeah, Dion leaving. Motivations. Jackson State was nothing before Dion. He's leaving. He's probably taking some of his best players with him. So are they really focused on this bowl game? I think not. This game would mean everything to NC Central to beat Jackson State. They're the team everybody talks about. I know Jackson State is 15.5-point favorites, but give me NC Central to win this game straight up. I'm with you. Love it. On the same page. Those are good vibes, which is good for bowl season. Unlike the Mount Loa or Mauna Lua, and we're not going to go back to that. The Las Vegas Bowl. The Las Vegas Bowl is in fact in Las Vegas. We've got Oregon State and Florida. Oregon State a 10.5-point favorite. Where are you going in Vegas?
Yeah, so I don't know if how much people are actually have looked at this, but this is the first year that it's been moved to Allegiant Stadium. This previously was played at UNLV Stadium, Sam Boyd, and it was very forgettable bowl game in the past. Like the stuff to do was more fun than the game. It wasn't that good of a matchup usually. That is not the case this year. Also, apparently this is the best, if you want to call it a swag bag or you want to call it a purse, whatever the players receive for playing in this game is, I think this is the best bowl game outside of one of the traditional, New Year's Six bowls. So if you're not in the playoff or the New Year's Six, this is the bowl game to go to for apparently all the free stuff and great things that you get for playing in it. Great matchup to the Florida and Oregon State for multiple reasons. Because typically you get a lower ranked SEC team versus a higher ranked Pac-12 team, and it's pretty even. The fact that Florida beat Utah to start the year, they're bookending their season with Pac-12 teams. But this is a statement game for Jonathan Smith and Oregon State. They could win this and I think somewhat avenge the loss for Utah in a way, but also really just put a feather in their cap for winning. Being a top 15 team, beating an SEC team, that never gets old for the Pac-12 teams if that ever, whenever that happens. So, and also winning 10 games. So, a lot of motivation on the Oregon State side. Florida, I don't think that they're motivated to be here. I think they're happy to be back at a bowl game, but it's kind of a less than bowl game for what Florida is used to. And Anthony Richardson, I know it was a surprise declaring for the NFL draft for most, but if anything, he should play in this game or tape to have more reps and have more touchdowns and all of that. The fact that he's not, a little surprising, a little sad. So he's not even going to play in this game. So yeah, heavy lean on Oregon State to win this outright.
Yeah. Here's the thing though, Daniel. Florida 6-6. They beat the Pac-12 champs in the first game of the season. Like the team that won the conference. Florida beat them first game of the season. Problem is, Daniel, you mentioned it. There is one big reason why Florida beat Utah, and that was number 15 on Florida. He's not playing. I don't know, like one of their backups has already entered the transfer portal, and he's not playing. Is Jack Miller healthy? I don't even know who's going to play quarterback for Florida in this game. These are also my Oregon State Beavers, Daniel. These are the fighting Jonathan Smiths. This is a chance to get to 9 wins, the first time in a long time at Oregon State. So, yeah, give me my Beavers. I think this point spread is telling. I think they probably win this game. I think they probably cover in this game. So, give me my Oregon State Beavers. Let's go to the LA Bowl. Was this the bowl game that was the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl last year? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, this is still the Jimmy Kimmel LA
Bowl. Oh, cool. Yeah. Awesome. So the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl. You got Fresno State and Washington State. So a little Mountain West Pac-12 action. So love to see that. Fresno State a 3-point favorite. Where are you going in Los Angeles?
I think I'm going to take a page out of your book, Jacob, and go vibes on this one and honor of Leach going Washington State.
Vibes. So that's a really good vibes pick. I'm also going to tell you this is the WTF game of the week. Fresno State is a 3-point favorite. The wrong team is favored. WTF game of the week. Washington State is going to win this game outright. They should be favored, I think, by about 3 points. I think this spread's about a touchdown off. Plus the Leach vibes, man. Heck yeah. Wazoo by a million.
I'm feeling good by it.
I feel way better than I did coming into it, even as the WTF game of the week. The Leach vibes, yeah. Washington State's winning this game for sure. I don't know what bowl game Texas Tech is playing in yet, but we're picking them too. Book it. Oklahoma, Kentucky, all of them. All the places he's been, just go ahead and book Leach vibes.
Man, I'm really low on Kentucky.
The Lending Tree Bowl. We got Southern Miss and Rice. The Lending Tree Bowl. I am currently looking up the location of the Lending Tree Bowl. This is really important. It is in, golly, why can't it make this easy? Mobile, Alabama. What a bowl location. The Lending Tree Bowl, Southern Miss and Rice. Where are you going in Mobile?
Yeah, I mean, Southern Miss would be closer to Mobile. So there's that. Also,
vibes.
I like fried rice. And so I imagine in the frying of rice, they would lose. And then something that friend of the show, Josh Pate, always says is don't lose to food.
That's all I wrote down.
Let's just keep it simple. Don't lose to food. And I'm just going to go Southern Miss.
Yeah. Don't lose to food. That's a rule from Josh Pate. So don't lose to food. Southern Miss, win and cover. Rice, one of the only 5-7 teams to make a bowl game. They might be the only 5-7 team to make a bowl game, but yeah, don't lose to food. Southern Miss, cash it, take it to the bank. All right, the New Mexico Bowl. Now, Daniel, this game is in New Mexico. So the New Mexico Bowl, BYU and SMU. SMU is a 5.5-point favorite. Where are you going in New Mexico?
In New Mexico. So if we're following Leach vibes, he started his coaching career as a grad assistant at BYU. He did that after playing there or attempting to play there before he got injured. So I think that would lead me to have to pick BYU in this game. Because honestly, I don't have a good feel for either one with, the 3-letter acronym schools. Let me just go BYU. I'm just gonna punch the ticket. The Cougs.
Man, giving up on your ponies, man. These were your ponies a couple years ago. I'm going SMU. This should be a fun, high-scoring game. Both defenses are terrible, and so I'm going vibes. Rhett Lashley offense. The ponies can run. I don't know if Cougars can run, but ponies sure can. SMU, man. I just can't believe you're giving up on your ponies this quick. High scoring game though. If you want to watch a lot of offense, New Mexico Bowl, watch the New Mexico Bowl. That'll be a fun one. The Frisco Bowl, Daniel. This game is actually in Frisco, Texas. So the Frisco Bowl, Boise State and North Texas. Boise State, a 10.5-point favorite, but North Texas close to home. Vibes? Where are you going in Frisco?
Let me tell you about a Frisco melt. All right. That's the best thing you can get at Steak and Shake. So Frisco melt, give me North Texas. All right. They're feeling right at home. The Mean Green, they're going to take care of this. All right. North Texas beats Boise State in an upset, but in front of some home fans.
So you're taking North Texas?
Yeah. Easy.
So North Texas just fired their head coach, which I don't get. Boise State's defensive EPA ranks 8th in the country. They've been really good this year. I like Boise State's defense in this game. So I will take Boise State to beat North Texas in front of some green-dressed fans in the Frisco Bowl. So this one I didn't go vibes. I went defensive EPA, top 10 in the country. It's weird how Boise State got better after Harsin left. Huh. Anyway, Myrtle Beach Bowl. This is a fun game a couple years ago when did Coastal Carolina playing it? No. Marty McGee called it. I remember that. There was something fun about this game a couple years ago. There's some fun teams. Anyway, Marshall and UConn. UConn, believe it or not, makes a bowl game this year. Marshall goes 8-4 after that big win against Notre Dame. Marshall a 10-point favorite in this game. Where are you going in Myrtle Beach?
Yeah, I'm just gonna I'll just fade UConn in this one. And then, yeah, the only real thing I know is, Marshall beating Notre Dame this year. That was, it was a surprise to everybody except for Marshall. And then, if we're going vibes, then, we are Marshall. Got to, Matthew McConaughey, Marshall.
Dude, yeah, Marshall is the right vibe because we are Marshall, Matthew McConaughey, all this stuff. But also Marshall's defensive EPA ranks number 1 in the country. First in the country in defensive EPA allowed. This is a great defense against a bad defense. They don't play on the field at the same time, but I just think UConn's had a great season for UConn standard. They're outmanned in this game. I like Marshall by a lot. Give me the Thundering Herd. All right, 2 to go, Daniel. The famous Idaho Potato Bowl. San Jose State. We got there. 3.5-point favorites against Eastern Michigan. Emu, where are you going in Idaho?
Yeah, if this was the regular Idaho Potato Bowl, then I would feel good about Eastern Michigan. But this is the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. So it's going to be San Jose State, not San Diego State, like I keep wanting to say. San Jose State.
At least you can say San Jose State right.
Right. Exactly. So they've had a better year in several instances. They're very similar teams, though. You look at the numbers, slightly better defensive numbers from San Jose State. So I'll lean that way for that reason, but should be a good matchup. And definitely something, this is what bowl season is all about. 2 teams that you just don't envision ever playing each other, getting that opportunity. So very exciting.
Yeah, I am going with San Jose State here as well. The only elite unit on the field is San Jose State's defense. Everywhere else is very meh. And so I'll just go with the one pretty good unit on the field, San Jose State's defense. Give me San Jose State in this one. All right, Boca Raton Bowl, great bowl location, fun little vacation. And again, for 2 schools who are probably pretty cold right now, Toledo and Liberty. So Toledo coming in as 4.5-point favorites. Where are you going in Boca?
I think, this one you just have to lean Toledo because of what's going on with Liberty. Losing Hugh Freeze. He's the reason that Liberty has been worth anything the past couple of years. Hopefully they'll be able to pick that up and keep going with it even after him. But at least for this game, I don't see them rallying to, a bowl win necessarily. I think Toledo is looking to put a finishing stamp on a good season. So give me Toledo to win this one outright.
Yeah, I am also going Toledo. Toledo, I think these are 2 teams that are going in different directions. Toledo ended the season very hot, won their conference. Liberty lost their head coach, and you could tell their head coach was interviewing for other jobs because of how they performed the last 2 weeks of the season. Toledo also ranked 6th in the country in defensive success rate. So give me Toledo, the MAC champions, against Liberty in this game. I like Toledo to win in Boca. All right, Daniel, that was the first 12 games. We got not several more. We have a lot more bowl games to go, but we'll do that next episode next week. for the next round of bowl games. Be sure to follow us on social media at the Extra Point Pod on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. You can follow him on Twitter at Deep South Daniel. You can follow me on Twitter at Jacob Carnes with K. That will do it for this edition of the Extra Point. He is Daniel. I am Jake.